I want you to just look at this lesson, and we're going to use this to summarize it, because you kind of got an idea that this is about what we have achieved so far and what we still can achieve. Let's look at it. The first paragraph kind of is a nice thing that says, you've come quite a ways. There may be still a bit of wavering and some small objections and maybe a little hesitance, but you can well be grateful for everything that you have achieved. So now here's the things we can be grateful for. That comes out of the second paragraph now. It says, be glad today in loving thankfulness that your Father has not left you to yourself. Now, Steve, you can look at the paper. I didn't mean to leave you there. Now that's on there. Now, number 2, so think about that. God has not left you to yourself. I think that's a big yay, because we feel we could just mess things up, can't we? I mean, we've seen what happened when we're left to our own demise. When we're left to our own little conniving thoughts, we can mess things up. And he's saying, you're never alone. I've never left you. You only think I'm alone. He's a helicopter God. Have you heard about helicopter parents now? They say they're always hovering around their kids. Well, thank God God's a helicopter parent, because he's always hovering around us. Number 2, be glad. And the things I put in brackets, I added those myself because they're like your Beatitudes. Be glad he has not let you wander in the dark alone. You're not alone. You can't wander in the darkness of illusion alone. He's always there. He's your flashlight on your smartphone. You know how I've always thought, gosh, I wish I had a light. And I go, oh my God, it's on my smartphone. It's amazing now. I used to think, we have to have lights somewhere so that I can look in my purse in a movie theater if I only had a little flashlight. Now I have it on my smartphone. I can look anywhere. I've got light with me constantly. That's what God is. He's your light. I love that passage in the Course that says, if you knew who walked beside you on the way that you have chosen, fear would be impossible. He's our light. He's always with us in what seems to be the darkness, so be grateful for that. Be grateful he saved you from the self you thought you made, to take the place of him and his creation. He saved you from you. Have you ever had this happen where you feel really good about yourself and people have said, oh, you look great in that color, or you look good today, or whatever, and then somebody says, well, I don't know, that kind of doesn't do much for your skin. And all the things people have said for you goes out the window, right? It's the one thing. Oh, it doesn't look good on me. Oh, I wish I looked, because that's where we dwell. We want somebody to reinforce our unworthiness. We're not unworthy. He saved you from that thought. And what you can say to someone is, well, thanks for sharing. You know what looks good on you. You know how you should be. You don't have to be diminished by anything else anyone says. Give thanks, it says, my thing would be grateful that he's not abandoned you. He's never left you alone, ever. Think about that. Just never left you alone. I always go back to that funny little story I've said many times where the floods were coming and the person says, God's going to save me, and car comes by and he says, don't worry about it, God's going to save me, and the waters get higher and the boat comes by and the guy says, don't worry, God's going to save me, and gets on top of his roof and the water's so high and he says, no, the helicopter comes by and says, I'll save you. He says, don't worry, God's going to save me. Of course, then he drowns, goes to heaven, and the guy looks at God and said, I thought you were going to save me. He says, what do you want? I sent a car, a boat, and a helicopter. Come on. He's there. But he's not there always in the way you think. He's there in the actions of others, in the kindness of strangers, maybe even in the outburst of somebody. He's there all the time. That we are asked to look with the eyes of Christ on each other, to listen with the ears of Christ, to think with the mind of Christ. So he's always there. So be thankful. He's never abandoned you. Even when tough times are happening, you're not abandoned. Give thanks, be grateful. His love forever will remain shining on you, forever without change. Always there. That light is always there, even when it's not perceptible to us. I have flowers. I was telling you about my flower garden, which isn't great. But I've got some roses out in the front, and it doesn't get a lot of light, but I'm so amazed how those little flowers know where to go for the light. It's just a bad location, but they all slant one way. I can see them. They all slant one way, and it's because they can glimpse the light there. It's almost imperceptible to me that there's even light over there, but those flowers find it. They always know which way to lean. And the truth is, God's shining the light on us even if we can't see it. and we need to lean in that direction. Give thanks because he is shining that light on you.